Hello, my name is Brenda Morrow. As Mariana has mentioned, I am a physical therapist or physiotherapist based in Cape Town, South Africa. I'm also a professor in the Department of Pediatrics and Child Health of the University of Cape Town. And I'm very pleased to be able to join you remotely from South Africa today. Thank you very much for the invitation. So I've been asked to answer some questions. I'm going to try and answer them briefly, although I think I could speak for hours on each one of them, but I will do my best and I hope that it helps you. So the first question relates to the concept of rehabilitation, which is quite different between North and South America, and I must say between different centers and different countries as well. And I'm asked about what my vision is about this. So rehabilitation in the ICU has really been implemented to tackle the problem of post-intensive care syndrome, as I see it. And we know that post-intensive care syndrome applies as much to children as it does in adults. So there are a number of different factors related to pediatric critical illness, which has been shown to have substantial physical, psychological, and neurocognitive consequences, which can interfere with daily life and normal development. And the effect on life and quality of life is not only to the child, but also to the parents, the siblings, and the extended family. And as a result, there's been an increasing emphasis on the importance of not overly sedating patients in ICU, of allowing them and in fact encouraging them to move as much as possible in order to limit some of these consequences. So the first concepts of rehabilitation, really, we use the term early mobilization to describe our ICU rehabilitation interventions. And this early mobilization was variably defined in the literature. Usually it's defined as the application of physical activity in the first 48 to 72 hours after PICU admission. And in a recommendation paper that I was a part of, we pragmatically defined the early mobilization as mobilization that's initiated as soon as possible after admission in the absence of contraindications. The problem with this is that it really limits the concept of rehabilitation to mobilization. And when people think of mobilization, they often think of walking and purely of movement. And I think rehabilitation for me is a much more holistic concept. I do think movement is an integral part of rehabilitation, but there is more to it than that. So for me, my working definition is that a good PICU rehabilitation or mobilization practice definition is where practitioners follow individualized, goal-directed planning to facilitate critically ill children to move and participate as soon after ICU admission as appropriate at a level and pace that's suitable to their age, their condition, and their developmental level. And we would like to do this in order to prevent critical illness and immobility-acquired morbidities or complications, to reduce the duration of invasive mechanical ventilation, and to enhance functional recovery. And for me, rehabilitation interventions include all activities, physical and otherwise, that are aimed at preventing muscle wasting and preserving or enhancing function, mobility, and I include here cognitive recovery as well. So that makes it a little bit more broad and doesn't limit it purely to physical movement. So the next question relates to the lead of the rehabilitation team. So in some places, many places, this may be a physician. And the question is what my feelings are about the leadership of the rehabilitation group and whether a physical therapist could also lead this team. So I think you've honed in on the main issue here is that you need a team. And for me, the interprofessional team is what is critically important in developing and maintaining a functional rehabilitation program within an ICU. So the importance of interprofessional teamwork, discussion, and collaboration, which is necessary to set individual patient rehabilitation goals and to implement the rehabilitation activities, is absolutely essential. And in different centers, there are a number of different professionals that can contribute to PICU rehabilitation. This may include physicians, definitely. It includes nurses. Some centers have child life practitioners that do amazing work in terms of rehabilitation. Play therapists can work with children and accomplish rehabilitation goals. We know about the physical and occupational therapists, the speech and language practitioners. Those are allied professionals that I tend to term rehabilitation professionals specifically. But what about your respiratory therapists who also engage in rehabilitation potentially? The pharmacist who has to ensure or has a role to play in ensuring that sedation is not overly practiced, that patients are able to be awake, they're able to be comfortable, that their pain is well controlled. The dietitian is a very important role player here to ensure that caloric and energy requirements are being met so that the patient can engage in rehabilitation, so that muscle wasting is not extreme, for example. So all of these people have a role to play in rehabilitation. So for me, the person that assumes the leadership role, in fact, I prefer the term champion, doesn't really matter as much as long as that person is knowledgeable of ICU rehabilitation and is fully invested in implementing a functional rehabilitation program in their ICU. So for me, and it's probably because of my bias, I am a physical therapist. I think a physical or occupational therapist would be obvious choices for this role. But I do know that in other centers, they've had nurses and physicians championing very effective ICU rehabilitation programs. So I certainly don't think it matters. And I think definitely a physical therapist would be perfectly capable of leading this team. The one thing I must say I do have a problem with is the requirement in many centers for a physician order or referral before a patient can actually be assessed by a physical therapist or another member of the rehabilitation team. The problem is that requiring an order really delays, unacceptably delays the time before a patient is assessed and then delays starting rehabilitation. And that is not in the child's best interests. So I think as long as people are working within a team properly, collaboratively, with appropriate discussion of every patient, and that protocols are developed to ensure that patients are assessed and have their rehab started as early as possible, then I don't really think it matters who's leading the team. And certainly physical therapists are prize one as far as I'm concerned. The next question relates to palliative rehabilitation, which is a special interest of mine. So yes, absolutely. Physical therapy is increasingly acknowledged as being a very important component of palliative care. And interestingly, I actually completed a postgraduate diploma in pediatric palliative medicine in 2019, which was extremely interesting and really helped me better understand our role within palliative care. So the definition of palliative care is care that improves the quality of life of patients and their families when they are facing the problems associated with life-threatening or life-limiting illness. And this is really the active total care of body, mind, and spirit. So it's care that affirms life. It's care that promotes quality of life, that treats the person, not necessarily the disease, and that supports the family. And as we know, palliative care does not equate to end-of-life care. End-of-life care is a component of palliative care. But remember that a person with palliative care needs, with life-threatening or life-limiting illness or injury, can live for weeks, months, and even many years. And during that time, they have the right to live as actively and with as much quality of life as possible. So palliative care integrates the psychological and the spiritual aspects of patient care. It does include physical care as well. And it really offers a support system to help and facilitate patients to live as actively as possible until their death. And part of that is to optimize function and independence. So ICU-based rehabilitation and early mobilization forms a part of palliative care. and that is palliative rehabilitation. And it also helps the family to cope during the patient's illness and during bereavement. So there is clearly an overlap between rehabilitation and palliative care, and this is where palliative rehabilitation fits in. So both rehabilitation and palliative care aims to maximize quality of life for both the patients and the families. They both require a multidisciplinary approach. They certainly have a patient and family-centered approach to care planning. They both aim to optimize physical function and emotional well-being to the highest extent possible. And both of them need to consider the patient and family goals, priorities, and limitations. Palliative rehabilitation is specifically holistic, it's symptom and function directed, and it's individualized. And importantly, palliative rehabilitation needs to be carefully planned, it needs to be coordinated, timely, and it does need to be flexible because patients change day to day in terms of their physical status, their symptoms, as well as their emotional situation and needs. So for me, the physical therapist and the rehabilitation team can certainly improve quality of life and well-being, which is really one of the primary targets of palliative care, by reducing or limiting pain, fatigue, other distressing symptoms like shortness of breath, spasticity. We can limit the development of postural deformities, which in turn predisposes to further pain and further respiratory dysfunction as well. And we can reduce functional limitations whilst improving self-sufficiency, independence, improving the ability to function actively, to play when you're a child. It can improve self-motivation. As soon as you can achieve one small thing, you're motivated to achieve more. To improve social interaction and participation and respiratory functioning, and to give hope to patients. This is not false hope. There can be hope to achieve one small thing every day. And we can fulfill that in palliative patients. My advice for a novice rehabilitation team in palliative care and some of the challenging areas when working in palliative care rehabilitation. Well, this is certainly not an easy area to work. If you are working in pediatric intensive care, you are working in palliative care. Those children, by definition, are facing life-threatening conditions. And so anybody working in the pediatric intensive care context is working in palliative care. And we don't all recognize that, I think. It is always difficult when you are managing patients and their families who are faced with potential or impending loss of life or limitation of quality of life. And that does affect us. It affects us physically, it affects us emotionally. And I think that is really, really difficult to manage. And it's more difficult sometimes, I think, when we're dealing with children. So I think, you know, this can be difficult, but it is also so rewarding because you can make such a big difference to the lives of children who are facing these very serious conditions and their family.
I didn't catch that.
I need
Could
to
you try
turn
again?
Siri off. Siri, please be quiet.
Okay, I've changed it.
My apologies about that. I don't know how to turn Siri off permanently. So my advice and the lessons that I have learned, you can't do everything, and that's okay. You can't do everything for every patient, but I think you can do something for every patient. So for a novice team, my suggestion is start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. We can all engage with our patients, their families. We can all use our interdisciplinary teams to bounce ideas off and to get support and consensus to develop our goals of treatment for every patient. We all have the knowledge to manage distressing symptoms, and we don't need fancy equipment or expensive equipment to achieve palliative rehabilitation goals. You can be creative in using what you have to make a difference for your patients. A small toy, a ball, a balloon can be used, it's almost free, to engage with our patient and to achieve our goals. And it can be done anywhere. It can be done in the home, in the hospice, in the ICU, in the hospital wards. We can be adaptable. So I said, do what you can when you can. And remember that every day is going to be very different. So be flexible, be responsive to changing physical condition and changing mood. Some days children just don't want to do anything, and that's okay, but tomorrow might be different. So engage with them on a day-to-day basis and do what you can when you can and as you can. I think very importantly, when talking about palliative or holistic care, especially in the ICU, we mustn't forget about the healthcare providers. We are prone to burnout. We are very prone to compassion fatigue. As I said, this is emotionally very demanding on us, and this can have significant psychological consequences to us as healthcare providers. So we need to also concentrate on caring for the carers through whatever means to help reduce burnout and improve our own quality of life. We have to look after ourselves before and fill up our own tank, to use the motor car analogy, before we can care for others. So at the very least, we need to all make sure that we are caring for each other. You need to make sure as a healthcare provider that you have the opportunity to debrief, to get your own psychological support when caring for severely ill and dying patients. I think this is for me, probably one of the most important slides. So I thank you for your attention. I hope I've answered some of the questions you have asked. Please feel free to email me if I can provide any clarification. I thank you for your attention.